What's up, Titan fans? How we doing? Welcome to a Week 11 episode from the What's Up, Titans Fans pod, where we're going to go over the ESPN rankings, power rankings for all 32 teams in the league, along with what they have highlighted for the week, which is the non-QB MVP for each team. Because if you were going over just MVPs, half the teams would be their quarterback, and another half, it'd probably be somebody else, and that's the bottom half of the league, right? So, let's go ahead and insert the plug as we're waiting on people to join the channel, because we need people here so we can talk, leave comments, have a conversation. That's what this channel is all about. It's about having a conversation with you guys back and forth about your teams and your favorite players down in the comments below. That way we can continue to grow the channel and develop. So let's go ahead and insert that plug. If you're not following me on YouTube, TikTok, and X, make sure to follow me on all three platforms. The handle's the same no matter where you go. It's the What's Up Titans Fans pod, where I bring content to you all throughout the week. I'm talking Monday through Friday, where I do post-game videos, pre-game videos, these ESPN Power Ranking vids, along with the ones going over the NFL analyst predictions for the week for the Tennessee Titans and anything else Tennessee Titans related. And then on Sundays, I do watch parties. I do also those pre-game videos and halftime reports. It all comes to you, and sometimes it's in the form of live, sometimes it's the pre-recorded videos, and sometimes it's the YouTube shorts for the 60 seconds or less, where I get content to you quick, fast, and in a hurry. So yes, if anyone went ahead and joined, don't forget to go ahead and smash that like button, comment below about your team, and let's go ahead and dive into things. Starting at number 32, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. They didn't even play last week, and they dropped in the rankings. They went from 31 to 32, and they had one of these late season buys all the way week 10. But yes, 2 wins on the season. And look, coming into the week, we had 9 teams in the NFL with 2 wins. A few got a win this last week, so now we only have 5 teams left in the NFL with 2 wins on the season. So it is a battle for this top 5 draft slots, right? Teams are battling out, trying their best to lose games, and we're going to have a challenge as the Tennessee Titans, to try to get this top 5 draft pick, because we still got to verse the Jacksonville Jaguars twice, and they're another 2-win team. These games are going to be as boring as can be, but one of us maybe we might split the games, but if one of us gets a sweep, we're going to be thrown out the top 5. So we definitely cannot sweep the Jacksonville Jaguars. But yes, the Las Vegas Raiders, 2-7, didn't even play, dropped from 31 to 32. Now their best player on their team, according to ESPN, for the non-QB MVP for this season is no other than Brock Bowers, the man that I wanted leading into the draft, right? I wanted a tight end. We need a tight end. Our tight ends are horrible. Brock Bowers is that guy. He's playing outstanding. I know we needed a tackle as well, right? We ended up getting Latham. But Latham, man, it's not sexy getting a tackle with a first-round draft pick. We've done it too often. We do it year in and year out. We're always drafting with our top picks linemen. I'm tired of getting offensive linemen. I mean, at least a tight end's, he's still on the line, but he's not really on the line. He's a little bit of both. He's a hybrid. But yes, for the season, look at this. 57 receptions, 73 yards, 53 receptions on 73 targets, 580 yards, and 2 tutties. He has more receptions than probably the entire Tennessee Titans team. It is insane. I mean, it's really not like, he really doesn't have more receptions than the Tennessee Titans team, but it feels like it because we are so bad at receiving. It would be such a weapon for Will Levis or Mason Rudolph to have Brock Bowers as a tight end. But yes, let's go ahead and move on to team number 31. Let's see who it is. And it's none other than the New York Giants, who are another 2-win team, sitting at 2-8. Now, they lost to the Carolina Panthers, who was sitting at 32 basically all season long, if you've been keeping up with these power rankings. They lost in overtime 20-17, and they're a terrible team, just like the other 5 2-win teams in the NFL. And their non-QB MVP for the season so far is Dexter Lawrence II, a defensive tackle. Now, if we go ahead and look at his stats, one of the main things that stand out is this man's sacks right here. He has 9 on the season. That's half of what the Tennessee Titans has total as a team. We have 18 on the season. This man has 9. 9. Our best player on defense, our best pass rusher, Harold Landry, has 5. I mean, he's sitting at almost half of what this guy has. So he's definitely dominating for the New York Giants. Let's go ahead and move on to 30. Now, 30 is no other than your Tennessee Titans, sitting at 2-7 with another loss on the season last week to the Chargers, 27-17. It wasn't even as close as the score made it seem. We scored that last touchdown on the tail end of the game when it didn't really matter. But we dropped in the rankings 28-30, and it says our best non-QB MVP is no other than Nick Westbrook-Akini, who's been getting a lot of playtime recently due to the trade of D-Hop, right? We didn't see this man before the D-Hop trade. We barely saw him at all. But look, so far in the season, he has 13 receptions, 139 yards, and 4 tutties. And that's wild. You have stats like that, and you are a non-QB MVP for the Tennessee Titans. He went 4 games in a row with 4 tutties. He broke the streak last week when he didn't get a touchdown last week. Let's go ahead and jump on to team number 29. And no other than division rival, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who we just spoke about, who's 2-8 on the season. Another 2-win teams. It looks like it's all the 2-win teams right here at the bottom at the start. They lost to the Vikings 12-7 in a low-scoring game. I know that Sam Darnold had a rough game. I think he threw like 3 interceptions that game. But they still came out on top against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it shows their non-QB MVP is none other than their edge rusher, Trayvon Walker. And they dropped in the rankings from 26 to 29 with the loss this week. Now, on the regular season, their guy has 7.5 sacks, which is still better than any Tennessee Titan player on the team for Trayvon Walker. So he's doing good. He's their non-QB MVP. Let's go ahead and move on to the Carolina Panthers, who are turning their season around. The last couple weeks, we've seen an emergence of Bryce Young. He's been looking better. The sitting behind the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton has helped this man out. So they ended up beating the Giants 20-17 in overtime, what we just spoke about earlier. They jumped from number 32, where it's been their spot basically all season long, all the way up to spot number 28. They got 3 wins on the season. They're the worst 3-win team in the NFL, according to the ESPN Power Rankings. Hey, we got one from LeBron James. He said, "Hey, I liked and subscribed, bro. Hey, I appreciate it, brother. Who's your favorite team? Are you a Titans fan, or are you someone else here just seeing the channel or whatnot? Or did we already go over your team from 28 down to 32? Let me know." But yeah, they beat the Giants 20-17. Their best non-QB MVP is Hubbard, their runner back in the backfield. And look, so far this season, this man has 818 rushing yards and 6 tutties. So he's, doing well for him. I know they had that QB rotation going on too. And so far, the runner back is looking like the non-QB MVP anyway. Next, another 2-win team above a 3-win team is the Cleveland Browns. They didn't even play, but they still dropped in the rankings from 25 to 27 because no one has faith in the Browns, right? They didn't even play. Deshaun Watson's injured. They have Jameis Winston coming in. Some people hoped he would revitalize the team. He does have the antics, but it's not working, right? They still only have 2 wins. But yeah, their non-QB MVP is none other than Myles Garrett. This man is a beast. He'd be the MVP on basically any team in the NFL. And look, he has 7 sacks on the year, which is still more than any Tennessee Titans player, with Harold Landry leading the way with only 5. I got to keep saying it because our pass rush is so bad. Even though our defensive coordinator keeps bringing the heat, we're not seeing any pressure on these QBs, and they just scramble all over us. It is wild. Now, at 26, we're talking about the New England Patriots, 3-7. They beat the Bears 19-3, which brought them up in the rankings 30-26. Man, what do you think about that? And then their non-QB MVP is the cornerback Christian Gonzalez. And look, Christian Gonzalez is a good cornerback from what I've seen. He was stuffing Ridley when we played him. He looked great against Ridley. Hey, we got someone else in the chat. We got Drum Guitar Dude. Is Tyson gonna win? I'm a little confused right there. What you mean is Tyson gonna win? You gotta send more information, brother. Then let's see. So we're talking about who we're talking about now. Oh, Christian Gonzalez, cornerback for the Patriots. This man has 35 solo tackles. He has 1 interception, but he's been a good cover corner, at least from what I've seen. Oh, Mike Tyson, you're talking about Mike Tyson and the YouTuber fight. I can't even remember his name. Yeah, I mean, this stuff's all rigged. They always let the YouTuber guy win. I can't remember his name. But yeah, him and his brother always win the fights. It's all rigged. Next, talking about the New Orleans Saints at 25. They're 3-7 for the year. They beat the Atlanta Falcons 20-17, jumped up in the rankings from 29 up to 25. And of course, their non-QB MVP is the man they just re-signed to a long-term deal, Alvin Kamara. This dude on the year. I know he's not a big runner, right? He barely ever had. I don't think he's ever had a season where he's got over 1,000 yards for the Saints, which is wild because he's typically a receiving back most of the time. But yes, on the season, he's getting pretty close, especially with the extended seasons that they have now. 17 games. He might actually break the 1,000 yards because he's already at 715 rushing yards on the season, 6 tutties, and then he also has an additional 421 receiving yards. So altogether, he's almost at 1,200 yards. So he's doing really good for the New Orleans Saints this year. I know they've had a disappointing season after that stellar start, 2-0, blowing teams out, and then they went on this massive losing streak, right? 7 straight games until they finally won one against the Falcons, which is an upset. I'm telling you, everyone thought the Falcons were going to win going into the game because the Falcons are a good team. Kirk Cousins, he's looking outstanding. He's found a home in Atlanta where they actually want him, and they like him in the city of Atlanta. He's adopted that city. Now, moving on up to spot number 24. It's the New York Jets, Jets, Jets. I'm telling you, brother, they're 3-7, but they lost to the Cardinals, right? 31-6. That was a blowout. I know it's a tough season. It's a tough year for Aaron Rodgers. And yes, their non-QB MVP is Garrett Wilson. He's a dog at receiver. You've seen him in the throwback unis. He wears the floppy sleeves in respect for Aaron Rodgers. But this season, this man's been targeted 100 times. We're in the triple digits. He's caught 65 receptions, though, with 704 yards, 5 tutties. This man is hard to cover. But they did stay the same in the rankings, even though they lost. They stayed at 24, entered at 24, left at 24. Next, we're talking about them boys. The Dallas Cowboys, sitting at 3-6, got blown out by the Eagles, 34-6. They no longer have Dak Prescott back there. He's injured. Then they dropped in the rankings from 22 to 23. And look, this is how bad it is. Their best non-QB MVPs come down to a kicker. Brandon Aubrey, the old dude he's from one of those spring leagues, the USFL or one of them, the XFL, forgot which one he was in, but he came from them, and he's the MVP for the Dallas Cowboys. And we don't get to see a kicker in MVP status very often, but so far on the season, this man is 22 out of 24. When you're talking about 50-plus yard field goals, which is wild, right? I don't know if this is a record or what, but he's 9 of 10 on 50-plus. This man's he's insane when it comes to kicking. He hits everything. We had to throw the 50-yarders in there because it is quite impressive, I tell you. Now let's go ahead and move on to number 22. Who is it? None other than the Chicago Bears. The Bears, they lost to the Patriots 19-3. It made them drop from 20 to 22. Maybe Caleb Williams isn't that guy. I mean, they were the luck, right? They had the luck of the season. I know he's young. We still got all this season and the rest of his career to compare Caleb Williams' old painted nails, right? But he had the benefit of playing bad teams at the beginning of the season. And, as the schedule progressed, it's going to be tough for him. He's in a tough division, probably one of the toughest, if not the toughest division in the NFC. I mean, they got the Vikings, who were looking pretty good this year, but let's just say what it is. They got the Lions, who's the best team in the NFL. I know they lost a game, and I know the Chiefs are undefeated, and the Chiefs are always number 1 in these ESPN Power Rankings, which is insane, but they're undefeated, so you got to give it to them. I mean, they won on a last-second field goal block last week. But the Lions, they just typically blow out teams. I mean, they blew us out. I've seen them blow teams out week in and week out where the Chiefs are barely beating teams. They're getting lucky on a lot of stuff and calls. You know what I'm saying? You always got these ref calls. But the Chicago Bears, they lost. They dropped from 20 to 22. And their non-QB MVP for the year is Jalen Johnson, a cornerback. So let's go ahead, check his stats, see how he's doing on the year. So they're saying this man is the MVP. He has 24 total tackles. Then he has 2 interceptions on the year. And you know, I mean, it's hard to judge whenever you're going off a non-QB. I mean, if QB was on here, they probably would have Caleb Williams because he is their QB. And a lot of these upper teams that you get beyond 20, it should have been their QB, but they're going to have it something else. Now, the Miami Dolphins, they're sitting at 21. They dropped from 20, or they went up from 23 to 21 because they beat the Rams 23 to 15. And their non-QB MVP is Devon Arcane. And look, I mean, they went weeks, right? They went weeks without Tua in the game. You know, they had all these scrubs in there. I mean, we were able to beat them because Tua wasn't there. Knowing they probably would have blew us out the water, but they have to focus on their runner back right now. I know they have weapons at receiver. They got Tyreek Hill. They got Jalen Waddle. They got all these guys as weapons. But, you know, they didn't have a quarterback this entire season to throw these people the ball. So, yes, they had to depend on their running game. And this guy's, yeah, he's doing well for him. I mean, he has 105 carries, 457 yards, and a couple tutties. I mean, it is what it is. He has a lot of receptions, though. 42 receptions, 317 yards, and 3 tutties. So he's an all-around back. He's helping them out, and he is their current non-QB MVP on the season. Next, division rival. Look, we're already on our 3rd AFC South team. They're coming quick, and we're only at team number 20, and we're on our 3rd AFC South team. And look, if you're already here, if you're one of these people watching, go ahead and send a like your boys' way. It helps the channel out, gets more people here. And don't forget to leave comments down below about your team, where you think they rank, and who you think the non-QB MVP is for your team. So, yes, we're talking about the Indianapolis Colts, which is a team we hate on this channel, right? But they lost to the Bills 30 to 20. That's expected. The Bills are one of the better teams in the NFL. And even though they lost to the Bills, they still went up in the power rankings, which is a rare case, right? They went from 21 to 20, but typically the bottom teams are very bad. And then you start getting to these mid-tier teams. There's some separation here, right? But they lost. But their best non-QB MVP is a nose tackle, the first nose tackle on the list, Grover Stewart. So this man, he has 44 total tackles and 3.5 sacks, which isn't bad. He also has a forced fumble and a fumble return. And let's not mention them big boys put them hands up at the line, and he got 2 pass deflects on the season. Now let's go ahead and get into above 20. We're finally there, right? The Seattle Seahawks, 4-5. They had a bye week. They ended up dropping in the rankings because of their bye. They went from 18 to 19, and their best non-QB MVP is their runner back, Kenneth Walker III. So let's go ahead, check out his stats real quick. This man on the season, he has 99 carries, 398 yards, 6 tutties, but he also, let's not forget his receptions, 30 receptions, 217 yards, and another tutty to go along with it for the year. Let's go ahead and move to 18. We got the Los Angeles Rams, 4-5. They lost to the Dolphins 23-15, dropped in the rankings a few spots, right? From 15, top 15 team, down to number 18. And their best non-QB MVP is their runner back, Kyron Williams. We're starting to get to where we're seeing a few runner backs back to back now. So for the season, he has already 664 yards, 8 touchdowns. Look, he's going to hit double digits soon, but he has a total, right? Total double-digit touchdowns when you're talking about his receptions, 25 receptions, 136 yards, and 2 tutties to go along with it. Now on to number 17. Oh, man, it's the Cincinnati Bengals, who's better than their record suggests. I mean, at least their offense is. They are a good team. I mean, you see Burrow week in and week out striving, putting up points, but they're still losing. I mean, look, they allowed 35 points and they ended up losing to the Ravens, which is quite unfortunate because if you're not familiar with this channel, we hate the Ravens on this channel. I know we have our division rivals and we hate them, but I'm telling you, I probably hate the Ravens more than our division rivals. But it was unfortunate the Ravens won on Thursday Night Football against the Bengals 35-14, which made the Bengals, they still went up in the rankings from 19 to 17, even with a loss because they play so well. Though the Bengals are a good team, and their non-QB MVP is none other than Jamar Chase. Now, if he wasn't here, you know it would be Joe Burrow if they were counting quarterbacks, but no quarterbacks in this list right here. So for the season, he has 66 receptions on 87 targets. He's almost to 1,000 yards already, 981 yards, and 10 tutties on the year. He's already in double digits on touchdowns, brother. That's wild. Now let's go ahead and move on to none other than Baker and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, sitting at 4-6, man. At the start of the season, they were looking good. It was looking like they had a chance to win the NFC South. Now it's looking like the Atlanta Falcons are going to run away with it. But right now, I mean, honestly, the division's close between them two. I mean, it's honestly between them because the Saints ain't doing much. And you know the Panthers aren't doing much either. But yes, they lost to the Niners 23-20 in a close game. They started at 16 coming into the week, and they're ending at rank number 16. And their non-QB MVP is none other than another runner back, Bucky Irvin, for him. And he has on the season 98 carries, 492 yards, and 4 tutties. He also has 26 receptions, 188 yards. So that's there. That sums it up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Denver Broncos are next, sitting at 5-5 at rank number 15. They went up in the rankings from 17 to 15, even though they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs 16-14 in a heartbreaker where a field goal was blocked because the guy on the left had a horrible stance and just allowed the guy just to come straight through and block the field goal. It almost looked rigged, like he was paid to not block. It's insane. But their best non-QB MVP is cornerback Pat Surtain II. And, you know, he's a long-time player. He's a veteran in the NFL. And on the season so far, he has 22 total tackles, but the main thing is his interception. He has 3 interceptions on the year, and he's their top DB currently for the Broncos. Hey, we got DJ Coda in the house. He's sitting here. I think he's a first-time commenter. He said, I'm a Vikings fan, and we should be lower unless Darnold turns it around. We can lose to almost anyone. Darnold had a bad game. Overall, he's done pretty well on the season. I believe on the season, if my memory's serving me correct from the top of my head, he has like 17 tutties and 10 interceptions on the year. He just had a bad week last week. I mean, they still won, but so far he seems to be fitting that Vikings offense. But we haven't seen them yet, so they got to be higher in these rankings, brother. Now, next at 14, we're talking about the Atlanta Falcons, 6-4. They lost to the Saints 20-17, where the Saints are currently one of the worst teams in the NFL, but they ended up, you know, somehow, some way, beating the Atlanta Falcons, who I thought was one of the better teams in the NFC, especially in the division or in the NFC South. You figure they would be running away with that division, but they dropped from rank number 10 all the way to 14 with that. And their non-QB MVP is none other than another runner back, Bijan Robinson, who's putting up numbers this year, right? He has 155 carries, 748 yards, and 6 tutties on the season, along with his 41 receptions for 331 yards for another touchdown. That's 1,000 yards altogether. He's having an outstanding season. But if it wasn't him, you know Kirk Cousins would be on the list if they was allowing QBs on this list, because Kirk Cousins is a dog this year, I'm telling you. And then let me know, DJ Coda, are you missing Kirk Cousins right now? Are you regretting letting him just go and ending up with Sam Darnold? Let me know how you feel. As a Vikings fan, I gotta know, brother. Just leave that comment down below. Then next, we're talking about rank number 13, the Houston Texans, sitting at 6-5. and 4. They dropped in the rankings from 11 to 13. Not too bad of a drop, even though they lost to the Lions, which, I mean, they shouldn't drop too far because the Lions is like the best team in the NFL. Even though they have a worse record than the Chiefs, they're still the best team in the NFL, in my opinion, just because they blow out teams and the way they play and, the amount of points they put up. They just seem like the best team. And look, they lost, and they're showing their non-QB MVP is Joe Mixon. And 6-4, I mean, the Texans are going to make the playoffs. They're not going to go far. They started out strong on the season, but they seem to slowly be declining as the season goes on, which is good for us to see. But this man on the season has 151 carries, 655 yards, 7 tutties, an additional 159 reception yards with another tutty on the season. Oh, we got DJ. He responded in the chat. He said, not too much. That money would be too crazy, and McCarthy is the future. Yeah, it just sucks he got injured, before he even got to play, really. He said, we are doing better than we should, and it's been a good ride. He just needs to learn how to check down. Yeah, he does. And, he's trying to take shots, open things up for his team. And sometimes we have that issue, too, with the Tennessee Titans where our quarterbacks, they're young, and they try to make it to their first read. Like Levis doesn't check it down. He doesn't go through his reads. He just wants to make the throw. And it's good sometimes because you do have those explosive plays, but a lot of times it does hurt you if your quarterback doesn't know how to check down, like a Brady or like a Aaron Rodgers does, right? Brady checked it down all the time. He just took what the defense gave. He also left another comment. It says it makes sense taking shots when you have JJ and Addison. I totally get it. Yeah, Justin Jefferson. Yeah, y'all got some dogs at receiver. I would trust those guys any day one-on-one down the field. Y'all got weapons. They're young. They're fast. They're tall. They can jump. They can make good catches, good plays. Now we're moving on to the San Francisco 49ers. 5-4. They beat the Bucks 23-20. What a heartbreaker for the Bucks, right? And they went up in the rankings from 14 to 12. Their non-QB MVP is tight end George Kittle, who's a dog on this team year in and year out. Teams with a good tight ends always seem to thrive, and that's what the Tennessee Titans are missing, unfortunately. But yes, he has 43 receptions on the year on 53 targets. That's a great catch percentage, right? He seems to always catch the ball. He only has 10. We have Calvin Ridley who had 10 targets in one game and missed every single target. So this dude has that all in the season, just 10 misses. 560 yards and 7 tutties to go along with it. George Kittle, hey, he's the man, and they're sitting at number 12. So let's go ahead and move on to 11. The last team before we get to the top 10 is none other than the Los Angeles Chargers, 6-3, who just beat my Tennessee Titans, maybe your Tennessee Titans as well. They beat them 27-17. They jumped up in the rankings from 13 to 11. Hey, two jumps for beating one of the worst teams in the NFL is wild. But yeah, their non-QB MVP is runner back J.K. Dobbins, who's dogging it this year just as well, right? He came over from the Ravens. This man has 141 carries, 670 yards, and 6 tutties on the year, along with his 24 receptions, 112 yards. And as we get into the top 10, let me go ahead and mention this real quick. If you're here, go ahead and smash that like button. Leave more comments down below about your team. I want to hear about it. This channel is all about having a conversation with each and every one of you. So now, number 10, getting into the top 10, we're finally here. We're talking about the Arizona Cardinals, right? We're talking about Kyler Murray. They beat the Jets 31-6. You saw Kyler Murray's helmet come off. He got hit so hard one time, but they jumped up from 12 to 10, and they're talking about their non-QB MVP. This is the second kicker on the list, Chad Ryland, right? Let's see how he's doing. See how he compares to the Cowboys kicker. So far on the season, 11-12, great accuracy, and for 50 yarders, he's 2 out of 2. He got them all for 50 yards, but RB for the Cowboys, he was 9 out of 10. They're kicking 50 yarders all day down in Dallas, but hey, I guess they don't need to do it. If their offense is getting them further down the field, that's less they have to kick it, less yardage. So they're doing good. with the Cardinals. They're in the top 10. Let's go ahead and move on to number 9, finally down to them single digits. They didn't even play this week. They're another team that had a week 10 bye, which unfortunately, you have a bye and you drop in the power rankings, which is a little wild, but I guess if another team did better, they're going to go ahead and jump ahead of you. But they are 6-3, and their best non-QB MVP is safety Xavier McKinney. Let's go ahead and check out them stats real quick. He has 42 total tackles on the year. He's sitting with 1 sack, and he got a fumble recovery. But the big stat, which is mind-blowing because it's more than the Tennessee Titans has altogether all season long, just with this one single player, he has 6 interceptions on the year. Don't throw the ball this man's way, dude. This man is a ball hawk on defense. He's looking like Kevin Byard out there, right? You seen Kevin Byard in one season, man. He would have like 10 interceptions in a year. This is what this guy's looking like, and there's still plenty of time to play. Don't throw it this man's way. He is taking over that side of the field. I'm telling you, brother. Yeah, that's tough. Hey, that's a good player right there. Next, hey, we're talking about DJ Coda's team right here. The Minnesota Vikings sitting all the way at number 8. They're high on the list, brother. 7-2, only 2 losses on the season. Outstanding season. I know they had their issues with Sam Darnold, but he's still doing pretty well, you know, for considering how he's been his entire career. This is his best season by far, you know, and they beat the Jaguars 12-7. They went down in the rankings from 6 to 8, even though they got a dub. That is wild looking at it. Their non-QB MVP is their runner back, Aaron Jones, who came over from the Packers, right? But for the season, he has 142 carries, 653 yards, 2 tutties, an additional 28 receptions for 258 yards, and another tutty. Look, I believe in the Minnesota Vikings, DJ. I do. I think they're one of the better teams in the NFL. I know they had a tough couple weeks. This week wasn't a good showing offensively against a bottom tier team like the Jaguars, who only have a couple dubs on the year. But hey, they'll pull it together. Sam Darnold, hopefully he can turn things around because, like you said, they got weapons all around him. And he just left a comment. He said, "We are doing better than anyone thought, and Jones is a dog, but he will get injured if he keeps getting used heavy." Yes. Look, coming into the season, yeah, once McCarthy went down, which, you know, he's a rookie, so there wasn't super high, praise going that way before the season started. But once you heard Sam Darnold was going to be your quarterback, after what happened with him throughout his career, everyone was like, oh, yeah, Minnesota Vikings season is over. But at least Sam Darnold was able to turn things around. Yeah, he's not like a top-notch, you know, he's not like a Josh Allen or a Justin Herbert or anything like that, but he's still playing pretty well, especially for being Sam Darnold. He's doing pretty good on the season. Hey, we got another comment by Holloway Vic. He said the Lions ain't like that. Hey, the Lions, I think the Lions are I think they're the best team in the NFL. Maybe I'm biased because they put up 52 points on us, and it could have easily been 70, but luckily, Coach Campbell had a heart. He showed mercy on us, and he benched Golf in the fourth quarter at the very beginning. He just ran out the clock, but it could have easily been 70 points on us. He said Golf is not him. Hey, I mean, I think Golf is coming into it. You know, he's one of those guys that emerged in the later part of his career. I know he had a rough start. No one believed in him when he was a Ram, and even his first year as a Lion. But I think this year, he got the weapons around him, and they're making plays over there. I mean, I know they put up 52 on us, and he only had 85 yards. But I mean, that was the fault of our special teams and our offense allowing so many turnovers, and our special teams allowing them deep where they didn't have to travel far to put up points. We got another comment, DJ Coda. The Lions are better than the Vikings because they are solid and have almost no weakness. See, I agree with you, DJ. The Lions, they're definitely, I think, the best team in the NFL. I know the Chiefs have a better record, but the Chiefs aren't putting up points. They're not blowing teams out like the Lions are. The Lions are just outstanding right now. But let's go ahead and move on to number 7, the Washington Commanders. This is another surprise team. Like, before the season started, you were looking at the Washington Commanders kind of like the Vikings, right? Where you're like, there's no way. You know, they got a rookie quarterback. They got Jaden Daniels. Like, people, you know, liked him as a quarterback, but he's still a rookie. No one expected him to come out and have the season he's having. He's going to get the rookie of the year award, right? That's Jaden Daniels. He's dominating this year at QB. I mean, I know they lost to them Steel Boys, right? 28-7, but the Steelers are a good team. And they lost. It dropped them in the rankings from 5 to 7. And their non-QB MVP is Terry McLaurin, who's doing well. We got some more comments real quick. He said, just wait till the real season, the playoffs, three-peat Chiefs mob. Oh, we got a Chiefs fan in here. Hey, the Chiefs fans, hey, they're everywhere now. And they're undefeated, Hey, their haters going to hate, because they're undefeated. They're having Super Bowl after Super Bowl. And everyone's complaining about the refs and stuff right now, all the Swifties that's with them, pulling them along. You see it all the time. So people, hey, haters going to hate. And currently, I'm one of them, brother. Now we got DJ Coda as well. He said, Washington is so fun to watch. That Hail Mary had me yelling. I agree, brother. Washington's a fun team to watch, and they have good players, which, is a surprise. You're seeing the good players come out this year. But McLaurin, 47 receptions, 711 yards, 6 tutties on the season. He said, we just play pad clapping football, talking about them Chiefs, Holloway, Vic. Now let's go ahead and move on to number 6, the Eagles. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles, right? Hey, they beat the Cowboys 34-6. They got weapons everywhere. They're 7-2. I mean, you look at this roster. On paper, they look almost unbeatable. I mean, you got Jalen Hurts, you got Saquon Barkley, you got A.J. Brown, you got Smith at receiver. I mean, they got so many dogs on this team. They normally put up a ton of points. They're another fun team to watch out there. Yeah, they beat the Cowboys. They would jump up from 9-6 at 7-2. And, of course, their non-QB MVP is none other than running back Saquon Barkley. And I'm telling you, if you watched that game and you saw him do the reverse hurdle or whatever you want to call it, the backwards hurdle where he just hurdled the guy backwards, that was amazing. I mean, you never see plays like that. And if you play Madden, they're going to add that, just like they added all, like when there's a spectacular play in the NFL, the one-handed catches and stuff, they always add it. The Mahomes sideways throw they add into the game like they did this year. You're going to see the backwards hurdle next year in next year's Madden if you play and you're into that stuff. Holloway Vic with another comment. Even though we really took a L to Broncos, I count that as a loss, but the NFC ain't it. Hey, man, it was a good play. I mean, they ran over that guard, or I don't know if they ran him over, if it was a bad technique. I mean, it looked like bad technique. He never got his head up. His leg, he was still down in position. They just really ran him over. It's basically like he wasn't there, and it came right in, blocked the kick to win the game, sealed the deal. Hey, but that's what it is. Good teams make plays when it matters, right? Then Saquon Barkley, 171 carries, 991 yards, almost 1,000 yards already, 6 tutties, another 21 receptions for an additional 158 yards and 2 more tutties. Man, as a Giants fan, I know that's gotta hurt. You didn't want to pay the man, and now look, he's in a division rival, lighting it up, dominating. They're 7-2. DJ Coda, another one in the chat. I think people hate on KC this year because of how many games they have won off the backs of bad calls, opposite of the refs with the Vikings. And then Holloway, that's my NFC Super Bowl pick, Eagles. Yeah, hey, Eagles, I agree. Eagles or the Lions, it's gonna be down to them. They're both like the 2 best teams in the NFC. I mean, the Vikings are there as a third, but they're definitely not on par with, the Lions and the Eagles. But yeah, the ref's always been a thing with the Chiefs. You see it game in and game out. But look, we're entering the top 5 now. The top 5 teams of the ESPN Power Rankings. Like I said, if you're here, go ahead and smash that like button. Leave comments down below as we enter the top 5. Let's see who's number 5. It's none other than them Steel Boys themselves, the Pittsburgh Steelers, 7-2. They beat the Commanders 28-27. What a close game. They went up in the rankings from 7-5. I mean, that's a good win for them Steel Boys. And their non-QB MVP is T.J. Watt. If it wasn't him, it would probably be Najee Haji, right? Because he does well for him. But hey, T.J. Watt on the year, 33 total tackles. The big one is the 6.5 stats. 4 forced fumbles, 2 of them recovered by him. And don't forget the big men up front. They wave their hands when they can't get there. And they got 3 pass deflects on the season. I mean, it's like every time he sacks the quarterback, that is a forced fumble. He be sitting there swatting, baby. Then now let's go on to team number 4, the Buffalo Bills. 8-2. They beat the Colts 20-30. Josh Allen's having an outstanding year for him. Even though they won, they did drop in the power rankings. It's one of these rare occasions. They went from 3-4, and their non-QB MVP is their nickel cornerback, Taron Johnson. So Taron Johnson on the year, 31 total tackles. He's got a sack, a forced fumble, and 2 interceptions on the year, along with 4 pass deflects. Now go on to team number 3, none other than the team we hate the most on this channel. We're talking about the Baltimore Ravens. We hate the Ravens, but they're doing good this year, right? And the only thing we're glad about is their non-QB MVP, Derrick Henry. We want this boy to do good. I hope he has a 2,000-yard season while the Ravens lose every single game, but unfortunately, they just keep winning. They beat the Bengals 35-34, moved up from number 4 to number 3. Hey, DJ said Derrick Henry is fun to watch. Oh, we missed one from Holloway Vic. He said the Lions' love is crazy. They're good, but they have only one safety significant injury. I don't think he meant that S. One significant injury. Aiden Hutchinson. Hope they stay healthy. Yeah, it's unfortunate what happened to Aiden Hutchinson. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's a dog. He's a leader on that defense, and he has so much energy. I don't know if you watched the previous Inside the NFL games or whatever it was, that stuff they do where they talk about like his rookie year. Man, he's a dog. And then we got Taron Johnson is an animal. Hate the Ravens and the Bills. Like, if you hate the Ravens, I like you, brother, because I hate the Ravens. But yeah, Derrick Henry on the year. This man, it's unbelievable what he's still doing after all the wear and tear that the Tennessee Titans put on this man year in and year out. Somehow he stays strong. He stays dominant. And look, he has 184 carries for 1,120 yards. And we just past week 10. You know, he's still got 11 and beyond to go for these guys. He's sitting at a 6.1 yard average on this many carries and this many yards, which is unreal. And then let's look, the 12 touchdowns to cap it off. Now, unfortunately, he's not a receiving back, so he only has 10 receptions, 96 yards, and 2 tutties off of it. He ain't out there catching the ball like Alvin Kamara, but this man is out there running boys over, I'm telling you, over 1,100 yards. And, you know, we miss him in Tennessee, of course. He's going to be a Titan no matter what. Even if he plays for them dirty Ravens, he's still going to be a Titan for life. We got some more comments. DJ again, it sucks losing any player, but losing such a good player is just less good football to watch. Yep. And then he says, bananas. What you saying bananas about, Holloway? Let's go on to number 2, the Detroit Lions. We've been talking about these boys this entire time. Best team in the NFL, in my opinion, even though they're ranked number 2 on the roster, right? They are sitting at 8-1. They beat the Texans 26-30. They came into the week at number 2. They're staying at number 2. And their non-QB MVP is none other than their wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown. This man is a dog. He's at Henry's his banana. Yeah, I agree. That man is a dog, dude. I'm telling you. So for the season, this man has 54 receptions, 67 yards, 524 yards, and 7 tutties on the year. And like I said, the Lions, Super Bowl contending team right here. They might make it all the way on the NFC, as the boy Holloway said earlier, right? It's going to be between them and the Eagles more than likely. You might see the Vikings put up a good fight, but it's probably going to be between them, the Eagles and Lions. Next, the number 1 team. We all know who it is. It's no surprise. They've been the number 1 team this entire season, right? Collinsworth loves them. You know, he loves talking about this guy all day and his team. We're talking none other than the Kansas City Chiefs, the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs, 9-0. But real quick, we got some more comments. We got, if the Lions win the Super Bowl, I'll be so mad, but it's most likely to happen. Hey, look, the Lions win the Super Bowl, Detroit is going to go off. These people have been waiting. It's been the Barry Sanders curse for, 20 years or something like that. And then DJ said, but Mahomes is different. And he is different. Yeah, he sometimes in the season, you know, it's one thing. But once you get in the playoffs, things go to another level. And we got a new comment in the house from someone new, JJ. He said they are the best team in NFL. Add a team I like. Yeah. Then we got the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, if you're talking about best team out of team I like, dude, I'm a Titans fan through and through, and we were way down at the bottom. Worst team in the NFL, but I stick through year in and year out no matter what. I am loyal through and through. I mean, I was there with the horrible Mettenberger days, the Jake Locker days. I've seen the ups with Mariota, obviously with the Tana Goat, right? He did well for us. He got us to the AFC Championship game. We got another comment, Pachenko coming back, Hollywood coming back, and our Uminio, or whatever that word is. Hey, yeah, I mean, y'all got a lot of play. I don't know how y'all have so much cap to keep players coming back and keep getting guys, good players, year in and year out. I mean, y'all just got D-Hop from us, always getting these top players. Where's the cap? It's like it doesn't exist in Kansas City. But yeah, they beat the Broncos. Let me move on. They beat the Broncos 16-14, remain at number 1, and their best non-QB MVP is none other than their defensive tackle, Chris Jones. And I remember one year we played him. Taylor Lewan was over there. I remember bussing with the boys. He allowed Chris Jones to get like 5 sacks on us in one game. So trust me, I know Chris Jones to a T, man. We saw this guy make highlight after highlight. But so far this season, 19 total tackles, 3 sacks, and a forced fumble on the year. We got a couple more comments real quick. However you spell his name. Yeah. And then we got DJ again. Vikings, Lions, and Bills fans have been through the most. Yeah, I agree. I remember when the Vikings, they almost made the Super Bowl, a couple times, and they had their kicker, missed the last-second field goal, didn't make it. They've had some tough years. Lions always been tough years. Same thing with the Bills, especially all those years with the Patriots up there just taking over. It was tough for a long time as the Bills. But now you see Bills fans everywhere. You're starting to see more Lions fans and, of course, Chiefs fans everywhere now. But that does it for today's episode. I appreciate everyone being here. Like I said, make sure to send a like, smash the like button. It helps the channels out. And remember, I put out content all throughout the week, live videos. I talk about all sorts of things. So just make sure to go ahead, subscribe to the channel, everything like that. Videos Monday through Friday, pregame videos, postgame videos. I appreciate all of you being here. A couple more comments real quick. DJ, at least I got to watch Adrian Peterson. Oh, yeah. He's one of the best running backs of all time. And then Holloway, I don't know why they hate the Chiefs, but we butt cheeks. Hey, the Chiefs, it's because, the refs and everything like that. And people hate the teams that are the best. That's just how it is. Haters are gonna hate. And look, I'm one of them. I ain't gonna lie. I'm out there and I see your right tackle 74 false starting on almost every single play and are not calling it. I think it is wild. And then the holding as well. Because holding can change a game week in and week out. But like I said, that wraps it up for today's episode. Just make sure you go ahead and leave more comments down below. It helps the channels out. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and tighten up, baby.